If budgeting worked the way people say it does, most families wouldn't feel financially stuck. But after years in banking and raising 7 kids, I learned something surprising. Budgeting isn't the problem, but it's also not the solution. Today, I'm going to explain why budgeting fails so many families and what actually works instead. I've worked with families at every income level. Some had detailed budgets and still struggled. Others didn't budget much at all, but had financial stability. The difference wasn't discipline, it was structure. Let me show you why budgets fall short and the simple structure that actually works for real family life. Today, I want to talk about something that affects so many of us: the constant draining stress of managing family finances. If you've ever felt that sinking feeling at the end of the month, wondering where all the money went, you are not alone. If you've ever sat down with your partner, full of good intentions, to create the perfect budget, only to have it fall apart by the second week, I see you. It's a cycle that can feel incredibly defeating. You track every penny, you cut back on the lattes, you try so hard to stick to the plan, but one unexpected car repair or a child's forgotten field trip fee can throw the entire system into chaos. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about the emotional weight it carries. It's the tension that creeps into conversations, the guilt that comes with every small indulgence, and the persistent anxiety that you're always just one step away from a financial crisis. You start to believe the problem is you. Maybe you're not disciplined enough. Maybe you're just bad with money. I'm here to tell you that is almost certainly not the case. For years, we've been sold this idea that budgeting is a matter of willpower and restriction. But what if the tool itself is broken? Today, I'm going to explain why traditional budgeting fails so many families and what actually works instead. Over the last decade, I've had the privilege of working as a financial coach for families from every walk of life and at every income level. I've sat down with young couples just starting out, mapping out their future. I've worked with established, high-earning families who, despite their income, felt like they were constantly treading water. And I've helped single parents navigate the immense pressure of making every single dollar count. And through all these experiences, a fascinating and consistent pattern emerged. Some of the families I met had the most incredibly detailed budgets you can imagine. They used sophisticated apps, color-coded spreadsheets, and tracked every single transaction down to the cent. Yet, many of them were still struggling. They were stressed, they were arguing about money, and they felt no closer to their financial goals. On the other hand, I met families who didn't budget in the traditional sense at all. They didn't have complex spreadsheets or track every coffee purchase. And yet they had a sense of calm. They had savings, they were paying down debt, and they felt in control. They had achieved a quiet kind of financial stability. So what was the secret? What was the fundamental difference between the family that tracked everything and still struggled, and the family that seemed to manage their money with ease? For the longest time, I thought it had to be discipline, but it wasn't. The difference wasn't about willpower or restriction or sacrifice, it was structure. The successful families had built a simple, robust framework around their money, a system that didn't require perfection. It was a system that anticipated life's unpredictability instead of being shattered by it. They weren't trying harder, they were using a better blueprint. And that is what I want to share with you today: how to stop budgeting and start building a financial structure that finally, truly works for your family. Reason number 1. Budgets look backward, not forward. Budgets track what already happened. They show where money went, but they don't automatically prepare families for what's coming. Think irregular expenses, kids' activities, surprise costs, life changes. These aren't emergencies, they're normal life. Families don't struggle because they can't track money. They struggle because life isn't predictable. Using a rearview mirror doesn't help you steer what's ahead. Life isn't a neat spreadsheet. Needs shift. Seasons change. Annual and seasonal costs show up and break monthly plans. And then come the true surprises: the dishwasher floods, a medical bill, a car repair. A backward-looking budget tells you the damage after the fact. It doesn't build resilience. We need a system that looks forward, anticipates, plans, and prepares. Not just recording history, but writing our financial future. Reason number 2. Budgets assume every month will go as planned. But families don't live in perfect months. Kids get sick, cars break, groceries change, life happens. Reason number 3. You can follow a budget and still feel financially anxious. Because budgeting alone doesn't create protection. And in a moment, I'll explain the one shift that made the biggest difference for the families I worked with. What works instead? Solution number 1. Build structure before budgeting. Families who feel financially stable don't just track money, they organize it. Clear categories, protection first, and consistent systems. Structure removes pressure from daily decisions. Solution number 2. Plan for real life, not ideal months. Stable families assume unexpected costs will happen, using buffer funds, seasonal planning, and long-term thinking. They don't hope life will be predictable. They prepare for it not to be. Solution number 3. Families don't need perfect budgets. They need confidence. Confidence comes from knowing your money can handle life. As a mom of 7, I didn't want money to feel tense in our home. I wanted stability. I wanted peace. I wanted my kids to feel secure. That's what families are really looking for. If you want practical ways to build stability while raising kids, subscribe to Raising Kids and Building Wealth. That's exactly what we talk about here. Budgeting isn't useless, but it's not enough. Families don't just need a plan for money. They need a plan for life.